Leaders from various sectors have gathered near Winterton in the Drakensberg to discuss issues affecting the country. They are taking part in the Drakensberg Inclusive Growth Forum hosted by the Kgalema Motlanthe Foundation. ENCA reporter Heidi Jockus is there and joins me live from the Drakensberg. Heidi, creative solutions for local government. What an important question that is being posed and discussed there at this forum. I understand you have a guest there.
Exactly, Apple, a very important, I think, theme for this year, local governments and local economies. But joining me now is the former Statistician General of South Africa, Dr. Kgalema. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your time.
No, thank you very much.
If we can just start off with the discussion that you had earlier around how the current South Africa we have just doesn't work. It's not working as it stands, given all the economic challenges we're currently facing.
Well, I think everybody knows that we have been in deep trouble for quite a while, and that trouble is deep. Our intervention 12 months ago, or 14 months ago, was around how do we actually understand the workings of the economy, how is it generating employment and so on. So our thoughts were around how best can we position our planning systems so that we can actually be able to implement. Because for me, the biggest challenge in South Africa has been about the planning systems. And therefore, you cannot implement what you have not planned. We have the fortunate situation now that we can illustrate that South Africa can be a going concern if only we can do A, B, C, D, and with ADRS, we have built some models that really show that economic growth is possible. Unemployment can also be reduced. But if we bring a combination of policies, both macro and micro, and that can generate hope for the country.
The argument, however, is that we are just having way too many discussions. There are way too many dialogues, there are way too many forums, there are way too many plans, but implementation and action seems to be lacking. And you make an interesting point where you say, we can help economic growth in this country, we can put a dent in unemployment, but why do you think this is not happening? What do you think is lacking in terms of...
What is lacking is a coherent and consistent plan that gives everybody line of sight. Line of sight is very crucial for the private sector to know where they intervene, by how much they intervene, and when, under what conditions. The absence of a line of sight is the biggest problem. We've been discussing with private sector, presenting these models, showing that it is possible, and they are quite impressed with this because it points to where they can make interventions. We have 7 stages. The 6th one is involvement of the private sector, and then, of course, the 7th is the external sector. That process illustrates that it is possible that South Africa can still grow and reduce unemployment. Where there is no consistency and coherence of the plan, where the civil service cannot operate models, where they don't have the capacity to do that, where planning is agriculture-based, things cannot work. We need an eye of the needle that is complex and treated by people who understand complexity.
Let's quickly speak about this Inclusive Growth Forum that we're currently having. It's the second time you're attending. It's the second Inclusive Growth Forum. Many are saying that this is just another talk shop. Why do you think this kind of forum is so important in terms of highlighting the issues that we're currently facing?
Well, it isn't, because from the point of feedback that we are providing now is we have concrete proposals around planning systems that have to be at the center of the state. That will provide credible line of sight that are evidence-based rather than thumbs-ups. That can bring together projects and illustrate what growth is possible. It's not a just talk shop. Yes, we do a lot of talking. We have, for instance, sharing of knowledge, what is his name, Commander Michael, saying here is the blue economy. This is what we are already doing. What needs to be done is to connect that blue economy with all other economic areas and aggregate systematically in order to see the benefits of growth. So this is not a talk shop. It's a session to raise issues, give feedback, and move forward. And it is a very, very important forum. It is a safe space where government and all actors can be influenced positively around the issues of development of South Africa.
Okay, before I let you go, I must ask you about Finance Minister Tito Mbowene's economic paper. I understand that you have certain views about it. There's been a lot of backlash around that economic paper, while many are saying it just doesn't speak to the actual problems of the economy.
That's what the central problem is. There are knowledge asymmetries in the country. Only the Treasury and the Reserve Bank have models. They can model, but they model short term in their nature of business. The other sector, which is the real economy, doesn't have a modeling capability. So you have this serious asymmetry where Tito Mboweni correctly is driven by debt to GDP ratio and inflation. And when there is no countervailing force to show that it is possible to do certain things without robbing the bank, he's left with no option when there's nobody showing and demonstrating that. That is why this modeling exercise that models all those things and shows alternatives and options is very critical. For instance, the modeling exercise mimics the Idulamiti scenarios, the Gwara Gwara, the Naila Walk, and the Isbujo. And we actually show if we were to go the Naila Walk route, these are the processes that have to be followed. This is how the interactions in the economy will be, and the 5.7% by 2030 over the period is possible. 10 million jobs are possible. Minister Mbowene's program shows that we will only grow by 2.7%. I don't know whether there will only be 1 million jobs in 10 years. Can South Africa wait for 1 million jobs? And this is generated by his own model, which is not countervailed by the other modeling capability that should be in the state to illustrate how the economy can grow. So work in the South African state has to be based on how you model, how you think about the future, and then how you influence yourself towards that future. And this modeling exercise shows that it can be real because it's based on real data. It's not something that is, is based on real data, a long-term time series, data from Stats SA and additional other sources, and this shows what can be possible in South Africa.
Great, thank you so much, Doctor. I wish we had more time, but unfortunately we've run out of time. Thank you so much. That's the former Statistician General, Dr. Pali, speaking to us about his topic today about building South Africa and economic building blocks and solutions. Of course, saying that we have to address the fundamental issues and stick to the planning of thereof. There's lots more still coming up: local government, local economies and town planning, as well as youth education and freedom. So lots still on the lineup. Back to you, Michael.
Heidi Jokos, my colleague, live to us from Drakensberg.